What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler of a video. Back-to-back bangers. We uploaded yesterday and today. You know what it is. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Drop a like if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And also, don't forget to check out my new website, goblin420.com. Note that the items listed for sale on there are just test items. The prices aren't real. So the hoodie isn't actually going to be $10,000. It is just a test listing, right? But go check out my website. Let me know what you think of it. And also, before we dive into the video, let's take a quick moment for our sponsor. This video is sponsored by MyBookie, one of the best sports betting sites on the internet. And today, they're offering to double your first deposit, so you could start with a leg up. By signing up and using my promo code GOBLIN, you could claim your first deposit bonus with MyBookie and use the extra funds to kickstart your winning season. This weekend, you can use your points with Arizona as they continue streaking in San Francisco. And with two top 10 offenses in the Titans and Rams going toe-to-toe on Sunday, you can safely smash the over at MyBookie. Don't just take my word for it. Go over to MyBookie and sign up using code GOBLIN and get your money doubled and start winning today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Big shout out to them. Let's dive right into the video. So this happened somewhat recently, I'd say, back in summer of 2019 during Coke Chronicles, which I guess was a while ago. It was over 2 years ago, but as I'm getting older, 2 years doesn't feel like such a long time anymore, so I'd say it's somewhat recent. But either way, at this particular point in my life, for those of you who have been around a while, you might know that I was going through an insane drug binge during the summer of 2019. Probably one of my craziest and heaviest drug binges that I've ever been on. I mean, yeah, I was on one fairly recently. Yeah, my whole entire high school experience was basically one big drug binge. But summer 2019 was just different. And those of you guys who haven't watched Coke Chronicles yet, go check that series out and you'll understand what I'm referring to. But at this point, I was going through almost a binge within a binge, where I wasn't just doing Coke every day. For those of you guys who watch my Coke Chronicles series, you might remember that I mentioned in that there was a brief period during that summer where I was doing Coke and Molly almost every single day. Coke was every day, and the Molly was pretty much every other day. I destroyed my brain and any serotonin left. I absolutely melted brain cells. I pan-fried my cranium. But my God, was it a blast. I don't recommend doing this. This is the worst combination of drugs for your body ever. They're so bad for you. Like, both of these are super dangerous and terrible for you long term and very unsafe to combine. So all of you listening right now, don't listen to this video and be like, oh, that sounds like a fun combo, because it's not. There's a reason I don't do it anymore. The reason I did it back then is because I was stupid as hell. But let's dive into it. So, on this particular day, I had woken up, and I had just re-upped a couple days prior. I was sitting pretty. I had my Coke, I had my Molly, I was ready to fucking party. And I woke up on this day, and Sam had hit me up while I was sleeping, and he was like, yo, you should come over today, let's get lit. Sam's house was a place that I frequented pretty often. He had a nice little apartment, and me and my friends would go over there and kick it, at least when his mom wasn't yelling over the cameras at us. So he hit me up and told me that his mom was going to be busy and we could come kick it all night, and he wanted me to bring a little bit of blow. So I replied to him when I woke up, and I was like, yeah, dude, for sure. I just woke up. I got to get a haircut later today, so let me get my hair cut, and I'll slide over when I'm done. No biggie, date set, right? I'm getting excited. We got a nice day of drugs ahead. So I get out of bed and I shoot my barber a text, and I always go to the same barber. Not anymore, but back when I lived with my mom in that area, I always went to the same guy. A, because he did a great job, and B, because this guy was fucking lit. I would pay him in drugs. He was a big cokehead. I didn't know this about him at first, but as he kept cutting my hair and we talked more, I learned, like, oh, this guy likes his fucking blow. So when I started doing coke really actively, I had brought it up at one point while I was getting my hair cut with him, and he expressed some interest. Ever since that day, I almost exclusively pay him in either weed or cocaine. And it's a great arrangement, you know? Sometimes he won't be able to find a plug. I come through. All he's got to do is trim me up, you know? It's perfect. So I hit him up this day and I give him a call and I'm like, hey, you still good for our appointment? Because he reschedules quite a bit. I will admit he's a little flaky, but I mean, the guy's a cokehead. He does a great job cutting my hair and that's all I care about, right? He told me, he was like, hey, I need to reschedule for today. I had some personal stuff or family stuff or whatever. I don't remember what he said, but he just said he needed to reschedule. So I was like, shit. My hair was growing the fuck out at this point. I was at my peak drug binge. I was not willing to sacrifice shit to get a haircut, so I hadn't had my hair cut in like 2 months. The only reason I was getting it cut this day is because it was getting unbearable. This shit was getting over my eyes. I was borderline mullet territory. It was getting bad. So I was like, fuck, dude. I need a haircut. So I'm sitting here, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm like, well, should I wait? Like, how soon can he book me? And I figured, fuck it. I'm going to go get my hair cut somewhere cheap. Obviously, I'm willing to give my barber like a half gram a blow or so to cut my hair, but I would much rather, much rather, just, if it comes to money, I would much rather pay for a cheap haircut in cash, right? I don't, or not much rather, I should say. Let me think of a better way to word that. Hold on. The better way to word that is that I don't want to pay for a haircut in cash because I wanted to spend my money on drugs, right? But if I was paying for my haircut in drugs, it was no biggie because I already had a bunch of drugs. But any money I had, no, dude, I need that. That's scarce, right? So, of course, my logical solution is I'm going to fucking Great Clips. I'll just get a quick trim up, no biggie, I'll look decent. So I start chilling out at my house, and Great Clips is open late. I'm in no rush. You don't need an appointment to go to Great Clips. So I'm sitting at my house, and I'm doing some lines, and I'm getting geeked up, dude. Like I said earlier, I'm at peak coke usage at this point, so my face is numb within like an hour of being awake, and I'm cold sweating. I'm fucking lit at this point. I'm just doing a bunch of blow, and maybe an hour or two go by of me just sitting at my desk, playing games and doing coke. And I realize I should probably get this show on the road. So I go shower, I get ready, I get dressed, and I leave to get my hair cut. On my way out, I'd grabbed my baggie of Molly, and I grabbed a little bit of blow out of my stash, and I bagged it up, and I brought them both with me. I had no weed with me on this particular day, but that didn't really matter because weed was just not the priority at this point in my life. So I'm in the whip, and I drive over to the Great Clips, which is maybe 5 minutes from my house. I go inside, and I ask for my haircut, and they tell me it's going to be about a 20-minute wait. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do for 20 minutes? I'm not going to sit in this Great Clips lobby. I'm going to go to my car and do fucking drugs. So obviously, I walk right out of this Great Clips and I go sit back in my car. I look at the clock and I'm like, okay, I got a good 20 to blow. I have no weed, so I can't roll a blunt, but my God, can I numb my fucking jaws. So that's exactly what I do. I start gumming a little bit of blow and I realize I have some Molly with me and I'm like, hey, that looks appetizing. What I like to do is I wouldn't always do a crazy dose of Molly, but I personally enjoyed doing Molly and Coke lines together. I liked crushing them up, mixing them together, and just doing a little line where maybe it was like a, I don't know, like a 0.05 of Molly, if even, like barely a threshold dose, but enough where I would feel a little buzz, or maybe it was just placebo, but I fucking liked it either way. So I decided after gumming a little bit of blow that I was going to do a couple Molly and Coke lines. These are atrocious. They're terrible. Cocaine tastes terrible, but at least you go numb. But that Molly taste, you never quite get out. And the drip of the Coke just transports that taste of that Molly all the way down your throat. It's terrible. It's a brutal combo. So I'm crushing these up and I'm mixing the lines together. And I've got two pretty sizable, I'd say they were pretty fat lines on my phone. I leaned down and I railed both of these. I didn't even bother rolling up a bill. I just railed them straight off. I'm full crackhead mode at this point. And after I get these down the hatch, I'm feeling great. My fingers are numb and slightly tingling. My whole body is numb, probably in dangerous territory with my heart rate. But we're not going to really talk about that. At the time, that was not my concern at all. I didn't give a fuck. So I'm sitting there cold sweating my ass off, like to the point where I ran my fingers through my hair at one point and my fingers were wet. Like I was like, oh my God, dude. At first I thought I didn't dry my hair all the way, but I realized I was just bussing. I was sweating bullets. So about 15 minutes had gone by and I go back into this Great Clips and I sit down and I'm trying to fan myself with my shirt I had on, right? I'm trying to fan myself the best I can, but like, I just can't do it. And it wasn't a crazy hot day out either, so I looked very out of place sweating like this. Finally, I get called up to get my hair cut, right? The lady calls me up, God bless her soul, for cutting my sweaty ass hair, right? But I get up there, and she sits me down at her thing, and she's got this little towel on the counter, and she like goes to grab new scissors or whatever, and while she goes, I take this towel and just dry my hair the best I can. I'm like, holy shit, I'm sweating so hard, it's like I just got out of the shower. I'm not really rolling at all, and I'm pretty fucking coked. I'm not gonna lie. I am pretty coked, to the point where, like, I was probably talking with a lisp because I couldn't feel my tongue or my teeth. Like, there was probably some good lisps in there. But, either way, I dry my hair off the best I can. I got it fairly dry, you know? And she comes back, and she starts cutting my hair. She asks me what I want done to it, and I'm fucked up. I'm not used to being asked what I want done with my hair, because my barber has been cutting my hair for so long that when I go to him, I don't have to say anything. Like, he just knows how I like it. He knows what I want, and if I want anything different, then I'll tell him, you know? But if I don't say anything, the guy just fucking knows. So she asks how much I want off my hair, and I'm like, bro, what kind of fucking, like, what, dude? I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like, well, it's pretty long. So I tell her 2 inches. Boys, 2 inches is a lot of fucking hair, yo. Dude, maybe not on like a woman with long hair, but on a man, that's a shitload of hair. So she's like, okay, sure, sounds good. So she starts cutting my hair, right? She starts trimming me up, and I'm paying no attention to this. I'm coked out of my mind. I'm looking down, and I'm just wiggling my fingers, attempting to get any feeling in them, because I'm coked up. I'm not gonna lie, this haircut flew the fuck by. I said nothing to this woman, and she had nothing to say to me. But by the end of it felt like it literally took 5 minutes. It probably took like 20 or 30, but I was so geeked out of my mind, I was on speed racer mode. So she finishes this haircut, and she asks if I like it. She's like, is it good? I didn't even look. I didn't give a fuck. I just figured it was good. I wasn't expecting it to be bad, and I was too fucked up to gauge if it was bad or not. So I was just like, yeah, looks good. So I pay her. I even tip her a little bit. I just threw a 20. It was like a $10 or $11 haircut. So I gave a pretty generous fucking tip there, right? I just threw a 20, said, hey, don't gotta break it, right? So I left, and I get back in my car. And once I get back to my car, I realize, hey, you know, I just got a haircut. Maybe I should check it out. So I open the little mirror that's over my seat, you know, like the little sun blocker thing with the mirror on it. I open that little mirror, and I'm looking at myself. And I don't know if maybe it's because I asked for 2 inches off. I don't know if it's because I was sweating. I don't know if it's because I was maybe slightly twitching because I was on like 3 drugs. But I looked like a little German boy that's after a Wiener Schnitzel with a bowl cut. I looked like a little laddie. I looked fucking ridiculous. Like, hold on, let me see if I can find a picture of this. Alright, I can't really find any good examples on Google. I took a brief search there, but listen. I looked ridiculous. It was almost a textbook bowl cut because she cut a fuckload off. Don't get me wrong. But it was not thinned out at all. There was no layering or texturing on the top. It was the same on top. She was just like, oh, 2 inches off? Say less. Just fucking yoinks the 2 inches off. So I'm sitting in my car, and I'm like, holy fuck. But I'm still so fucked up that I don't think it's that bad. I'm like, okay, you know, it might be a little worse than my barber, but whatever. So I'm sitting in my car, and I'm fucked up, and I go over to Sam's house. By the way, never drive when you're as fucked up as I was in this state, but I'm a dumb fuck, honestly, okay? A lot of the shit I do when I'm on these drug binges is super impulsive and stupid. You should not do the shit I'm doing. But I drove over to Sam's house, right? Probably in no condition to be doing so, but I drove over there. I get over there and I get inside and I tap Sam up and he looks at my fucking hair and I could tell that he's trying to hold back a comment. Sam's a great guy, love the guy, but he's just nice and he will never insult my hair. So I'm like, Sam, what is it, dude? He's like, man, you got a haircut? And I'm sitting there and I start laughing. I'm like, fuck, dude, is it really that bad? Like, that's the first thing you stared at when you saw me? And he was like, yeah, bro, it's honestly kind of fucked. Which, coming from Sam, that's bald. Because that guy, Listen, he loves me, dude. He's too polite. He would never say anything negative about anyone. He's too polite. So, I go into his bathroom and I look at it and I'm like, oh God. And by this point, it had dried a good bit from when I first sat down in the chair and I was all sweaty, because not only did the lady blow dry it when she was done, but now also I'd been out of the store and in my car with AC for a while. So it settled a little bit, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy shit, dude. I look like some Hitler Youth. Like, what the fuck is this, dude? I look ridiculous. So I'm sitting there and I'm like... I'm like, fuck it. I text my barber immediately. I hit him up and I'm like, yo, Great Clips just fucked me, dude. Like, how soon can you get me? And he tells me, he's like, I'm free tomorrow, man. You should have just waited. Why'd you do that? And I was like, I'm sorry, dude. It was urgent. I needed it today. I fucked up. So after that, I went back out to Sam's living room, and we're sitting there, and we're just getting geeked for the rest of the evening. And we're just discussing my brutal-ass haircut. I'm talking to Sam, and I'm like, Sam, have you ever had a fucking haircut this bad? And he's like, I don't know, dude. That's pretty shit. Me personally, this is probably honestly one of the only bad haircuts I think I've gotten in my life. I've only gotten like 2 or 3 haircuts that I remember being terrible. And one of them was from a Great Clips, and the other was from Supercuts. So if there's anything you should learn from this story, besides don't do Molly and Coke, it's probably don't go to Great Clips, for sure. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.